Why is the earth so hospitable to life? Is it because God crafted it to be that way? Or did life just adapt itself to the world? Did God shape the earth's environment to help his creation survive? Or did life arise in response to the environment with no intentional plan? For believers like me, the answer is pretty obvious. But to approach these questions in a rational, unbiased manner, let's look at what God created in the first place. The Earth orbits the Sun in a habitable zone of the solar system where it isn't too hot or too cold. It has the correct temperature range to sustain life. Why? Either a loving, thinking God put the Earth there because he didn't want his creations to freeze or burn up. Or the Earth just found itself there, and life arose as a result of the conditions that just happened to exist. Isn't it kind of obvious which of those really occurred? Or consider the Earth's atmosphere. It's 1/5 oxygen. Most life needs oxygen to survive. Either God didn't want his creations to suffocate to death, or single-celled organisms that gave off oxygen as a waste product just happened to develop, and higher forms of life that could take advantage of the oxygen just happened to evolve as a result. Which explanation makes you feel good and doesn't make your brain hurt? Then, of course, there's water, which is abundant on Earth. You knew that life needs water to survive, right? Either God blessed the world with all of that cool, refreshing water because he knew his creations would be thirsty, or water happened to be here, as it is in many places in the solar system, and competing organisms used its many useful properties to their best advantage. Which explanation makes you feel warm and loved and protected, and which one just sounds like science class? To me, it's pretty obvious. Caves on Earth might have been caused by rainwater slowly percolating through rock, or perhaps God carved them out because he knew that bears and blind salamanders would need a place to live. Why are there rocks? Maybe so that lichens and mosses have something to cling to. Do volcanic vents on the ocean floor exist for any reason other than to give the extremophile bacteria that God put there the heat and sulfur he knew they'd enjoy? And perhaps seaweed is a lot like life itself. Beautiful yet delicate, it can survive only because God created an entire ocean to hold up its fragile tissues. After all, without this loving gift, seaweed would collapse, dry up, and die. So, what do you think? Are the many different life forms on Earth mere consequences of the conditions that have supposedly existed here for millions of years? Or were those conditions carefully crafted by a conscious, all-powerful but invisible Father in heaven, because he also had a plan to create blind salamanders, lichens, and sulfur-eating bacteria, and knew they'd all need special homes that were comfortable so they could live happily ever after? I think the answer is pretty obvious.